try to keep working. I'll even pretend like I'm just talking to myself maybe. But I wanted to talk about, I have a horse that is suffering from cataracts, if you want to say suffering. He's going blind because of cataracts. And he is one of those horses that is extremely blessed with long, thick mane and tail. Like, he's got a very, very thick mane and tail. And it even has like a pretty wave to it, kind of like a Frisian. I always think of Frisians when I think of his mane and tail. It's very thick and has a wave to it. His forelock reminds me of like a Shetland pony, you know, with that big pom-pom that they get, you know, the big poofy forelock, right? And why I'm thinking he is blessed because of this is because it's like an added eyeball whisker, right? And it really wasn't until the day that I braided it. Thinking, I'll braid it and get it out of his line of sight so he has a better chance of seeing whatever he does see, right? So I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing by braiding it out of his face. But it was only like, I don't know, 15 minutes after I did it, and I put him outside, and I came in the barn, and it like sunk in. Like, wait a minute. What if he uses his forelock, especially having a pom-pom type forelock, as a way to know that he's close to something? Like, what if he uses his forelock like a big set of whiskers or something? So, like, if he's coming into something and his forelock touches it first, he knows, you know, to protect his eyes. Because I don't know if you've ever seen a horse or an animal that's going blind, but they don't know to blink. Like, if you pretend like you dipped your finger in water and went like this, like right at their eyeball, they won't blink. They don't have that reaction. They don't have that reflex, you know, because they don't see it. So, like, for him, he doesn't see that. So he needs another way to tell him he's super close to something. So the day that I braided his forelock, I was like, oh my God, what did I do, right? Yes, I thought I was doing something nice by like kind of taking his hair away from his eyes so he can potentially see a little bit more clearly if whatever he is seeing. So anyway, now what I do is I keep it trimmed where it stays kind of puffy. Like I have this thing, it's called a solo comb, and it's like the humane way to pull a horse's mane. It looks exactly like you pulled it, and you can, if you need to, you can thin out your horse's mane with this tool, as well as just keeping whatever your horse is. Like if you have a quarter horse or a paint horse that has a very thin mane, you don't want to take any of their fullness away. You just want to take the length away, right? So you could do it either way. Like a horse like him, I can like thin out his mane and give him a little bit less, and it's not like cutting it or anything. And it doesn't give that cut look, right? So, but you have to do everything with that tool like you would if you're pulling it, right? So you grab, you tease back. You know, in this case, you don't have to roll it and then pull, but you do the whole tease back, and then you push a button, and it cuts the hair that you held in your hand. And you have to do it like you're, I'm actually like I'm advertising this thing. You have to do it like you're actually pulling. So you have to do it where you're, the little bit that you have left in your hand after you teased it back is a little bit. If you do it where you do it like if there's a chunk of it, well then yeah, it's going to look cut, right? It's going to look cut. But I haven't pulled my horse's mane in 40 years, right? I found this tool, and that's the way I've gone, you know. But anyway, so what I did, instead of combing it back out, I teased it, cut where I know the pieces that are irritating his eye, because again, he doesn't know to blink. He's not blinking the irritation out of his eye either. So he, you know, if his eyes start getting kind of a collection of gook in the corner, I know that his eye is being tickled by his hair, and I need to get that out of his eye. but I want to make sure he maintains that puff. So that way, like I said, if he gets too close to something, he has an alert system that says, warning, warning, you're too close to something, and he can protect his eyes. And because it's such a full thing, it comes off on either side. So what I've done was I actually like almost pull out a corner, like I shape his eye a little bit so that there's still a little puff on this side of the, like the outside of the eye, where if he was coming sideways to something, he still has kind of a big puff there. And then he has a big puff in the middle, but he has a little bit of clear around the actual eye. And what I was thinking was, again, look at me, I'm standing here. What I was thinking was, I have paint horses that have that very typical no forelock, no mane, barely a tail horses, right? You know, they're the poster child for extensions. But I don't know that anyone has ever thought to make extensions that serve a purpose, right? What if you did an extension on a horse like, say, my horse Tyson, who has never, I think I've shaped his mane before. I don't think I've ever touched his forelock in his whole life. He's 20, he'll be 22 in April. And I don't think I've ever done anything to his forelock because, he has no forelock. So, but like a horse like him, who's from the same breeder. I'm not saying that means that he's guaranteed to get cataracts and go blind too. I mean, he's a lot older than Bentley. But, what do you do for a horse like that? He doesn't even have a forelock to rely on. And I'm like, I wonder if anybody ever thought to do extensions, deliberate extensions in their mane, in their forelock, to help a horse that's going blind be protected from walking into something and damaging their eyeball. So I don't know. For some reason I thought about that. I'm like, that'd be kind of a cool thing to offer, where it's not like you're not putting things in their hair that can irritate them. Every time they move their head, they have things bumping into each other and they feel like something's landed in their forelock or something. You don't want that. But like something that you can kind of sew in. I don't know how extensions work, but I'm going to guess it's like a sort of a sewing in process. Something you could sew in at the skin line where he's not going to even know that he has this extra something, making their forelock bigger. I don't know. I think that would be a smart way to help a blind horse. So anyway, that was me just thinking out loud. Have a great day.